G'day everyone, welcome on man. You're watching Camping Mates. Today we're going to get a bit creative with tools. What I've got here is a 22 litre water jerry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a water pump inside of it. And then I'm going to plumb it through here. And then I should have a working 12 volt water jerry. Powerized water jerry. How good is that? So I'm going to run you through all that stuff in a sec, and all the stuff that I need for this project I've got going on here. So there's nothing too much to it. So there is actually a product on shelves that you can buy. It's called, I think, ONTAP products. I will link it down in the description. If you got $210, go for it by all means. But if you're a guy like me, if you've got a bit of a tools experience, and if you have a bit of a, I don't know, if you're enjoying working on something, and if you like to DIY something like this video is the perfect one. Because you don't really have to order anything online or anything like that. You can get everything from here. If you're in Australia, don't really know about any other countries. If you go to a JAYCAR and Bunnings, you'd be sweet. For this particular system, so far it cost me, this one I paid about $35, and for all these cost me about $100. So grand total is $135, let's call it that. And then in a couple of minutes we should have a powerized working water jerry. Alright, let's get into it. By the way, comment, like and subscribe. Let's do this. Alright, so before I get started, I've got to do a bit of a disclaimer. So, actually I bought this online. This is from eBay. Paid about 15 bucks, and well, that changes everything, isn't it? So, the grand total going to be 150 bucks. Still, you're saving $60, unless you buy in the black edition. If you buy the black edition, you're saving $75. Alright, anyways, so that's out of the way. Let's get correct into it. What I've got here, these are the stuff that I'm going to use for the project. So to start with, this is a 10mm 5 meters of clear vinyl tubing. I don't really need 5 meters, but I had to pay for 5 meters because they sell 5 meters. I'm only going to use half a meter of these. So if you got something lying around at your home, you're saving a lot of money, 20 bucks. And this one is a tap to reel connector. This is 2 meters long. I'm painting a picture here. This is how it's going to look like in the end. So yeah, this, if you can create something like this from stuff you can find around your home, again, you're saving money. About 20 bucks this one, about $3, $4 I believe. So this one, we talked about this. This is the water pump. And I've got a switch. Not really sure how I'm going to use it, but I've got it. Some waterproof grommet from JAYCAR. And last but not least, I've got an extension cord. So this is a 2.1mm 12 volt DC extension cable. Can carry up to, I believe, a couple of amps. But this one only, like that, at the full capacity, this is only carrying 1.2 amps according to the manufacturer. So I should be pretty sweet. And I've got here a male adapter and the female adapter, so I can extend the unit and plug the male end to my dual battery system, and then I should be sweet. Almost forgot about one of the key thing of the build. So this is a 13mm water stop connector. It's pretty important, particularly this one, because this one has sort of a feature that I'm going to show you later. You have to find specifically this one. And this is a 13mm coupling. And if you miss anything, I'll link everything down in the description so you can find it. I found this grommet is pretty interesting. This is a waterproof grommet from JAYCAR. So this is a sort of a 3-piece product. And the way this works is, let's say this is whatever the material that you want to get waterproof. This, let's say this is the water side and this is the outside of it. So you have to drill a hole to this diameter, whatever that is, and you're going to poke it through, just like so, or the backing nut, just like so, and then secure it to the surface. And then let's say we're feeding this cable through, right? This is actually what we're gonna do. So you gotta feed it from the water side out, just like so. And then there is actually rubber washer inside this little guy. So you make sure to keep it intact, otherwise the water starts to leak. It's this little bit right here. So you gotta feed it inside, right? Like so. So it's all gone inside. Hopefully this video will make sense. And then you get the top bit, and then you just tied that up. So I'll show you how this is gonna work. So this is a untouched one. So if you can see, when I turn this, the circle inside of it's still becoming smaller and smaller. So that's how the water tightening system working. So there is a rubber ring inside of it, and then when you turn it, it will become small and make a very, very nice and tight seal around it. Okay, so I planned out to drill 2 holes. So one for the water, one for power. So water one's going to be a bit bigger, just right up here, and the power one's going to be smaller. Because the reason I choose to put it behind these two, because I have to reach inside to tighten those things up, if that makes sense. So if I put it somewhere else, here or here, I wouldn't be able to reach it inside and tighten properly. I'm using a center punch to pilot the holes. And I'm using a step bit to make the drilling. So this is about, apparently, according to this one, 30 mils. Yeah, 30 mils. Stop around 27 and just do it by bit. So this is pretty snug fit as far as I'm concerned. And then, so one hole is done. Then I'll have to do the next one for the grommet. That's the ticket. There it is. I'm going to do a rough cut on this. So I have to feed it right through here to the pump. I'm going to use a bit of heat to it. So again, this is 10mm hose, and I don't think, I don't really need any sort of hose clamps for this one. It's pretty snug and it is staying there, that's for sure. All the hard work is done most of the way, so I have to put it in and just feed this one through, but make sure not to lose it. I'm actually going to tape it. I think I'm going to cut it to the length that I want it. I reckon about here is perfect. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm going to feed it through the can, and I'm going to install it like that through the can, like so, and then tighten this sucker up, and then it will be water sealed, watertight, and then I'll have a plumbing out of the jerry can. So that's the theory behind it. And I get the cable out, wire a switch out, and then happy days. It's a bit tricky, but not the end of the world. You will get it. So the beauty about this, it has a water stopper inside of it. So if there is no tap connected to it, the water wouldn't squirt out. You actually have to put a connector into it to get the water supply out, if that makes sense. So It won't be splashing around if you keep it somewhere. And then if you're not really sure about this seal, you can always use a bit of a silicone around it. I'm going to add a bit of a silicone to it, just a tad. And then I'm going to use something like this to insert it to all the small areas. And it will give us a nice tight seal. That's it. Job well done. Now, the cable. I'll have to insert this first. Nice and tight. And I'm going to keep it like that because it has to come out from this side. So what happened was, on this part, they have a better reinforcement. So the material is a bit thicker. And I couldn't get through in a nut. And then couldn't find the thread on this one. So what I did was, this is a bit weird. I took the rubber grommet out of it. So there was a rubber washer which provide sort of a seal between the surface and the grommet. So what I did was I took it out because cannot really reach the thread behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again put some silicone around it to make it nice and seal and nice and watertight. And I reckon that will do the trick. Again, I'm going to use this little tool here to push everything into it around the seals. And actually, if you think about it, it doesn't really matter if seal's better or worse because you don't really fill your water tanks up to this point anyway. It's going to be like somewhere around here. Even if you push it here, if it's sloshing around, it might come out, but chances are pretty minimal. So I wouldn't be super worried about it. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell, huh? So I'm going to insert the rubber, the tiny grommet inside the grommet so we can get a bit of a watertightness into it. Insert this sucker here and make a watertight seal. Donskis. Twist and tie the sucker up. So that, my friend, is electrified water jerry. Took me, I don't know, about half an hour or so just to figure out everything, but it wouldn't take that much long because I figured out everything for you. So yeah, I have to cut this sucker up. We're not going to use the yellow bit. We're only going to use the these two wires. I need to find which one is the positive, which one is the negative. So the plan is I'm going to cut this wire and I'm going to solder a 2.1mm 12 volts jack into it, male part. So if I have that like here, if you can see, and then I can adapt this one and then connect it to my power system, my dual battery system with the extension lead. So the thing is, using one of these kind of switches, these are not waterproof as far as I'm concerned. So if something goes wrong with the switch, and we can bypass the switch in that way if I have an adapter here. So that's the plan, and yeah. So again, the brown wire is the positive, the blue wire is negative. So usually in these plugs, the outside is negative and the inside is positive. So I'm gonna solder it like that. So the positive and negative properly connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of big heat shrink over it, something like that. And I'm going to heat shrink the entire thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a double wall heat shrink. So there is, if you can see, quite close, up close, there is glue inside of this heat shrink. So it's water seal, waterproof. It's pretty nice heat shrink for this particular application. On and off. Quick note, I'm going to keep this assembly same as before, because if something goes wrong, I still can take this bung out and use this tap. And now let's go outside and test this out. Alright, so moment of truth. I plugged everything in here. I actually test it out before I get embarrassed in front of the camera. So yeah, plug that sucker in and wire everything accordingly. I'll plug that sucker into my 12-volt system. So yeah, let's go. Hopefully this will work. Oh, can you hear that? That is priming actually. Oh, we have water. We have water. Oh, hello. That's it. Alright, so there you go. It's a very good feeling. I'm going to turn it off. Well, actually, while we at it, I'm going to measure how much amps that this thing actually pulling. Alright, so if you can see, this is the Victron app. Just around here, now it's pulling 0.12 amps. And as soon as I turn it on, it should go a bit more higher. And then when I'm using this, 1.75. So there you go. It doesn't really draw that much amperage, so you'd be fine for a quick shower or washing your dog. I'm pretty happy. Probably you can tell from the smile of my dial. So this is sort of enjoyment that you can get out of one of these projects. You can start on a Saturday or Sunday and get it done. Or maybe if you cashed up, well, not necessarily cashed up, but if you really want hassle-free product, just get it from ONTAP. It's pretty easy. $210, and if you're getting the black edition, it's $225. Australian-made product, Australian business, help them out. But if you are if you like to do this kind of stuff, it's pretty easy. And then if you don't really have any tools, then again, it's going to cost you a bit more than that. Since I've got all my tools and everything, I didn't really have to spend much more than $150, $160. Alright, so let's wrap it up. Let me know what do you think about this video and the product. Would you make one? Let me know down in the comment section. And yeah, again, if you subscribe and like and share with your mates, that will be really helpful for the channel. Until next one, stay safe out there, take it easy on the road. See you later.